Howdy, folks. Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you Next War Iran. This is going to be turn 7. So, at the conclusion of turn 6, I was very excited about the fact that the Allies will have initiative this turn, which is amazing, right? It's going to give them plenty of opportunities to do extra stuff. Well, guess what happened? Let's go ahead and move over to here. So, if you look right there, I rolled the weather already, and we rolled storm. So that's about the worst thing that could possibly happen. So, yep, things are going to... This is going to be a rather quick turn, just because you can't do nearly as much stuff. Everything gets slowed down and bogged down. Yeah, I was really looking forward to taking out that surface action group. I don't think so. All the ships have to move out to all sea, at sea. So everybody's at sea anyway, right? So there's no ships on the inshore boxes, and there's no ships, no navy in any of those hexes. So all the nothing happened, but I won't be able to engage in naval surface combat. So that kind of stinks. And I don't think, I'll have to look. I don't know if I can get these guys from the Indian Ocean into the Gulf. I might be able to go at sea, and that might be the extent of it. But yeah, it kind of stinks, right? So I won't be able to do the amphibious invasion of Lavon. Well, the good news is these guys are isolated because of that. But, and you do roll for surrender of isolated units, but if there's nobody there, who are they surrendering to? I would imagine that maybe they just up and quit, but they're stuck on that island regardless. So maybe there would be some kind of situation where they're like, you know what, we're done, we're quitting. And then when allies show up, they have automatically surrendered. I'll have to figure out how to deal with that. Maybe I'll ask a question on the Discord group. But anyway, so yeah, initiative turned into a bunch of hot garbage because of a bad weather roll. So yeah, I already did my electronic detection. I think I detected. All right, I think I revealed that marker. So now we're in special forces phase, first special ops. So we'll just go from left to right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to detect and then subsequently target. So if the detection fails, then the target automatically will fail, right? Because you can only do one detection attempt per special forces thing. So I'm banking on that I will be able to detect that. So the blue will be the detection and the red will be the targeting. Or a recon is what we're doing. So that is mountain, supply depot in the mountains. I need to roll a 2 or less. Yeah, it looks like a 2 or less. So chances are pretty low. Oh, almost. Oh, that really stinks. So that would have been for the targeting mission. Let's see if these guys make it back. Oh, man. Can you believe that? Hold up. I get a -2, which turns those into 7s, so both of these guys died. That stinks. That hurts. Well, there'll be another black star on the wall. Now that's a CIA thing, putting the black star on the wall. So we're going to do the same thing here to try to recon that headquarters and then subsequently target it. Let's see. That's a headquarters in flat. So we need to roll a 4 or lower. Blue die. And of course we failed that again. So the targeting mission doesn't happen. Let's see if they survive. That 8 turns into a... All right, so it's a -1 for non-US, UK, French, Allied. I mean, The Israeli Mossad is probably the premier special forces on the planet. So I'm going to give them a -2 DRM as well, even though according to the rules it's a -1. So the -2 gives you to 6, so both of those guys unsuccessful but survive. All right, we are doing exceedingly well here. We're going to go ahead and do a raid to try to take this guy out. That is Mountain. And that is an installation, so we need to roll a 5 or less. So the red die will be with his survival roll. All right, so they do survive, got a 4. Raid DRM is -1 because of the storm. So that turns that into a 4, so that is a strike 1. So that turns into a strike 2, and these guys get back home. All right. We're going to do... Should we do a targeting, or should we do a raid? Let me see here. The Iranians only have 3 surface-to-surface missile points. I mean, it is worth victory points, right? So let's do... Actually, am I supposed to do... No, I don't think these are considered theater weapons. So we'll go ahead and do a raid on that. So it's a -1. So that's a 2, and they do survive. So that turns into a 2. And what is that? That's in rough. Or is that Highland? No, that is Highland. Highland installation with a 2. So that is a strike 2. Strike 2, and the French get to go home. Well, probably to Saudi Arabia. I'm sure they're based out of Saudi Arabia. Let me see. Do I have any more? I think what we're going to do here is we are going to try to hit the detection track. So we need a 4 or better, and we have a -1. So that's a 1. That's amazing. They survive. So that is a 1. That is a -2 result. So this goes down to there, and those guys get to go home. All right, I think that is all the special forces that I have allocated on the map. That really sucks. The failure on trying to... Oh, I forgot one. So we'll go over to here. So that really sucks the outcome here. We're going to try to hit that helicopter right there. Actually, you know what? I think I have to detect those guys. All right, I had to check real quick. So the helicopters I don't have to detect. So it's kind of known where airfields are and where helicopters are at, I guess. So they don't have to be detected. So I can do a raid on that, and that is, it looks like flat helo airfield. I need to roll a 3 or lower. Of course, there's a -1 to that, but then a +1 because it's occupied, but by less than a brigade or regiment, so that evens out. Well, that is a 1. That turns into a 6. So they survive. And what is that? That's a 1. So that is a 2. So let's see. 2, place strike 2 marker on unit installation or hex. Any 1, 2, or X result against a helo causes a step loss. So, boom. And there is no step loss on that, so Those guys are done. How many? +2 victory points for a helicopter. So the Allies have managed to score some victory points on a storm turn. And now I think we are done with the Special Operations Forces phase. So what do we got next? The Air Naval phase. All right, so we're going to do air superiority. I think we have one airfield, which is over here with a strike 1 marker. I think that's the only one in the entire game right now. So the owning player must move half the number rounded down to a minimum 1 of air units into the flown box from air units based in a basing box equal to the number. Okay. So there's one airfield with a strike marker. And all right, so we move one guy to the flown box. Well, I think it's going to be pretty easy to determine. It's going to be one of these damaged guys. We'll do this F-14. Tom Cruise is going to get over this turn. So there's that. Both players place air units in the air superiority box with AWACS advantage last. All right, I think so. I've already moved all of the aircraft that are non-all-weather capable, which is only like 3 or 4 Iranian units. Everything else is all-weather capable. But I have to look and just double check and see. I don't know if the aircraft values are halved or whatever. All right, since this is going to be a shorter turn, I'll go ahead and do this whole air superiority combat. So because it's a storm turn, everybody's values are halved, rounded down. So this guy here, if it's a 1, then it's rounded down. It's halved and then rounded down. He has a 0. So they have to, anybody that has a 0 value for whatever they're trying to accomplish gets put into the flown box. So he has all zeros. Effectively, he's all zeros. So he goes to the flown box. So both F-14s are in the flown box now. It didn't apply to anybody else. So the Allies committed all of their guys are all-weather aircraft, and then of course the Chinese they're trying to stave off the Allies as best they can. So we'll go ahead and do air superiority combat. Of course, any plane that is not matched up with anybody is not going to actually do any kind of fighting. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aircraft, Allied aircraft that will not participate. So they will actually make it to the very end, and we'll see what happens. But we'll just go from left to right. So it looks like this F-35 gets to shoot first because he has, if you look at the asterisks, he has 2 asterisks, so that is long range. And then 1 asterisk is standoff, and then, so the 2 asterisks fire first. He can't fire back, so then you do all the double asterisks first, and then the asterisks, and then we go to dogfight. So basically 3 phases. I'm pretty sure I made that about as complex as I can make it, but we'll roll that F-35. It's going to be unopposed, so he is on the +1 column. I don't know if we can, yeah, it doesn't work. So let's see here. Because he has an aircraft rating, actually a 4. So it's halved, a 4, and then he has a 1. Actually, so a 4 is turned into a 2, and a 3 is turned into 1.5 and 1. So he is a 2 to 1. So he is +1. He'll roll on this column, and then that aircraft will roll on the -1 column. -1. There you go. Now you can see it. So +1 and then -1. But again, this guy gets to shoot first, and that J-16 doesn't get to fire back in this phase of combat because we're doing the long range. That's a 6 and 2, yeah. So he is advantaged. Now, he has advantage on him, but he does not have advantage on him. So we'll do this fight first. When you have advantage, you get a free attack. Well, it's not free. I get to shoot first. Normally, combat's simultaneous. That's a 7, so that's going to be nothing. So now he gets to fire back at him. That's a 4, but he is on the -1. So now he has advantage on him. If we go to dogfight, this guy still gets to shoot back at him. Or he gets to shoot at him. And that's a 9. Wow, this has been horrible, horrible combat. So this is crazy. It gets complex with multiple airplanes. So this is kind of what the situation looks like. He is following him, and he is kind of doing that. So he'll get to shoot first. You go by aircraft ratings first. So a 4 is higher than a 3, or in this case, because everything's halved, a 2 is higher than a 1. So he gets to shoot at him first in dogfight. His pilot rating is a -2, so he'll have a -2 to that roll. Let's see if I can roll a 9. So that turns into a 2. So this guy is damaged and aborted. Oh, there was DRMs for Storm. I didn't even think about that. Holy crap. Well, we'll apply all of the DRMs towards the dogfight. So it's +3 for Storm. So that is a -2 for the pilot skill, then +3. So it looks like it turns into a 5, I believe. So a 5 is, this guy is damaged. Now he gets to shoot at him. He has a pilot rating of +1, and he has a +3 for the Storm, so he has a +4. So that turns into a 12, which is nothing. Now this guy gets to shoot back. So it is an overall DRM of +1, -2 for his pilot rating, and +3 for the Storm. So he has a +1 DRM. And that is a 0, which turns into a 1. And he is damaged and aborted. So this guy is destroyed. So that is 2 victory points. Let me go ahead and put that on the chart already. All right, that Chinese pilot probably should have broke contact. I need to remember that, right? Like, you can break contact after any phase is resolved. So let's say he survives long range. He can break off if he wants. He can be like, you know what? I've had enough of this stuff. So each one of these aircraft gets a free shot on him because he cannot do long range combat. So I'll just roll twice. +3 for each one of those, so that turns into a 7 is the lowest number, which does not do anything. All right, this guy's feeling kind of lucky because nothing happened, so now we're going into standoff. Looks like +3 for Storm, +1. This guy gets a +4 to his roll. All right. Oh, wow. All right, so let's see. That's a 4. He has advantage on this guy in dogfight. And then my guy got a +3, which turns into a 6. And he is also advantaged. So I guess it turns into nothing. The two advantages cancel each other out. Now, the Marine still gets to shoot. He has a +3. That's a 5. So he is advantaged. So it kind of looks like this. I'll do that Marine first. His pilot skill is -1, and it is a storm, so he has a +2 to the roll. That's a 9. That will not be good enough. And then this guy shoots first 2 on him. So again, a +2 to the roll. Actually, no, +1 to the roll. That's an 8, and that is not good. And let's see what our Iranian F4 can do. And he doesn't do anything. So all 3 of these, this fight is over with. This guy goes over to here. That guy goes back to there. So 1 plane so far has survived. Now we'll go to here. It looks like all their air-to-air ratings are 2s, because 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, rounded down is a 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. These both have long-range capability, so they will both attack, get a free attack on this guy. Oh, that's even. That will not hit. That turns into a 4 because of the storm. So a 4 is advantaged. I don't think it really matters if both of those planes are exactly the same. So we'll do something like that. Now we go to standoff. So we'll go ahead and do this part first. That Typhoon gets a free shot. Well, he gets to attack first. I'm sorry. That is a 5. He still has advantage on him. He gets to shoot back. That doesn't do anything. This guy gets to shoot. And that is a 3. That's an abort result. So that fight is done. This guy gets his long-range shot first. That doesn't do anything. All right. Oh, you can't see that. Well, that's good for the Chinese guy. He got a 1. The F-15. Is that an F-15? That is an F-15E. Yes. So he got a 1. We are in standoff. +1 for non. Oh wait, no, you don't get +1 for anything. So +3 for some. So that's a 4. So 1 to 2. That's a 4. So it's gonna look like that, I think. And then I'll roll for him for the standoff. That is a 3 on the +1. So that's an abort roll. So he goes over to the abort box. All right. We'll go to here. It looks like that's going to be an even fight. One of the first even fights that we've had. That's a 6. The blue die is a 6. That doesn't do anything. And the red die is a 5, which is advantaged. So now we go to dogfight. Pilot skill of -1, but +3 because of storm, so it is a +2 to that die roll. That's an 11. That doesn't do anything. That'll be a +1 overall die roll because his pilot rating is -2. And that is a 2, which turns into an abort. And then my only F-22, he gets a free shot, so he's a 3 firing on a 2. That's a +1. That doesn't do anything. Standoff combat, that is going to be, I think the lowest number is a 7. Yep, nothing happens. Now we go to dogfight. So this guy has a +1. He gets to shoot first because so in dogfight, the higher rating here goes first because it represents a better aircraft. So this 6 is higher than a 5. That turns into a 5. It's a 3 to a 2. That's damaged. Gets a damaged result. Now he gets to shoot back. And that is that's only a 1, so that's a -2. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. So this guy goes over here. He does survive air superiority combat. And now this is one of the very few mismatches as far as the Allies go. So that's 2 to 2, so that's a 0. Standoff combat, ooh, man. So that turns into a 4. So that is a advantage. And then the Allies get advantage, so that evens out. Now we go to dogfight. The Chinese plane actually gets to attack first. Actually, that's 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, which is rounded down to 2. And then that 4 is turned into a 2. The pilot skills are both -1s. Let's say this dogfight is simultaneous. And the Chinese guy looks like he comes out on top. He got a 1, which turns into a 4, which this guy gets damaged. All right, and then he goes over here. All right, so now we figure out what the differential is. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 divided by 3 is 5 with a slight remainder. So if we go look here, it will still be air supremacy, 5 to 1 or greater. And then the AWACS advantage shifts to, so we go to 0. So there is no AWACS advantage now. AWACS advantage is 0. I'm going to flip it to that because I'm going to assume the Allies are going to start moving it, but we're right there right now. So no AWACS advantage for either side. All right, next thing we do is we do the second Special Operation Forces phase, which gives the non-initiative player their chance to respond. So we are going to try to reduce that detection track. We're going to try to hit the 101st Airborne Division's headquarters with a raid, and then we are also going to try and do these airfields here. Oh, the Houthis, they can only be used to raid in Saudi Arabia or Qatar. At first I thought it was just Saudi Arabia, but it is Saudi Arabia and Qatar. All right, so we will do the detection track over here. So the blue die will be the red die will be the raid itself, and the blue die will be survival. So the red die is a 2. Are there any DRMs? Yes, there's a -1 because of storm. So that makes that a 1. That reduces the Allies' detection track by 2. Good for you guys, Chinese guys. So that goes from here to here. The 5 is... that turns into a 6 because it's a raid. And you still survive. So the Chinese Special Forces survive. Now we'll go ahead and do the headquarters. That is a raid. It is flat terrain, and it is a headquarters. Chances are very slim that this succeeds. You need to roll a 1 or a 0. 1 or 0. So that's a 3. That fails, and then the 8, this guy dies. He wasn't good enough. Probably shouldn't have tried that. And then the last 2 will do the Houthis. That's also flat terrain. A 6 and 9. That guy, the Houthis did not make it. I think they get placed on the records track 1 turn ahead. I think. Let me double check that. Yep. If they're eliminated, they get placed on the records track 1 turn ahead. So at the end of turn 8, they will reappear as a reinforcement. And then the other Special Forces mission, that's a failure, and they make it home. So they were unsuccessful in doing all that. So that's it for the Special Forces phase. All right, now we're doing cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, SSMs. None of the ships within the Persian Gulf or the Gulf of Oman were detected, and that's because of the storm turn. I mean, you can still detect, but it's way harder, and nobody got detected, which, again, I really wanted to take out that surface action group, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let's see. We'll work from right to left. We're going to throw 4 ballistic missiles at that detected 101st Airborne, which is going to stink. Let's see. Those guys are flat. Scud missiles. So 4 rolls. Let's see here. High Mountain, Russian pilot, Sam. No. I don't see any DRMs for a Scud missile. Non-US cruise missile, but that's not a cruise missile. I don't think they get... So we're shooting 4. That's an 8 and an 8. 8s aren't good enough. That's a 3 and a 5. A 3 is a strike 1, and a 5 is a strike 1. So that is a strike 2 on that headquarters, and I believe he is rotated to reflect no. He can't do anything. It's not like he can do anything anyway, so unfortunately, we couldn't take that, or they couldn't take that headquarters out. That's really the only bad part about that. Well, good for the Allies anyway. We'll go ahead and do... Oh, those are cruise missiles. I didn't reduce my cruise missiles by 3. So the U.S. cruise missile... Oh, I'm sorry. That's not even U.S. Those are... Actually, I'm sorry those are, because that's a green die, and that's going against the detection track of the Iranians. So 3 cruise missiles. It's a 7 and a 6. I don't think that's going to do anything. Air defense tracks, cruise missiles. Yep, that didn't. Neither one of those hit, which sucks. And that's a 7. I don't think that changed. That's, again, that's depressing, right? Like every time I get to do something cool with the Allies, I always roll low. And so we've got 2 ballistic missiles here and 2 ballistic missiles there. So we'll do here first. That is Highland. Actually, that is a hardened target. Scud or missile. So that's 2. That is a 2. That is a strike. I got a strike 1 with the 2, which is enough to take that out. So that guy is finally gone. That is 2 more VPs added to the track. So that goes to 6 for the turn. Those are U.S. missiles. I did not. So I have 8 U.S. missile points. That's 2. That's 4. So that takes that down to 4 points. And then we'll go here. Let's see here. Scud missile. I need a 3 or lower. And I got a 1. So that takes that guy out. So that's awesome. At least that worked. I kind of would have liked to have taken the detection track down a little bit, but detection track is always good, right? If they can't see my planes, if they can't find them, they can't shoot them down. All right, so that's the missile side. Non-allied allocates airstrikes, helicopter strikes, and escorts. Okay, helicopters can't fly in storm. Airstrikes can, but they're let me figure out what I want to do, because airstrikes, the strike values are halved. However, it's harder to detect them. So the Iranians, they have some cruddy aircraft, but it's going to be harder to detect them. So they might actually be able to get a few lucky shots in. Hold on. All right, during the first strike phase, because of the weather, things didn't go out the way I wanted to, or happen the way I wanted to. So we tried to do Wild Weasel on the detection marker for the Iranians. Unsuccessful. The Iranians tried to hit the 101st Airborne Headquarters. This guy was aborted due to SAM fire, but this guy, he wasn't able to hit anything. Then we tried to take out some nuclear facilities. Managed to cause a strike 2. Of course, that B-52 was aborted. And then we caused a strike 1 there. So that was strike phase 1. All right, I am not quite sure where the camera cut out, but as is like to do all the time, it cuts out on you. So because of the storm turn, values are halved. So I turned that to a strike 1. And then right here, we had our first supply phase. Pretty much everybody's in supply. These guys are out of supply. Isolated. These guys are in supply because they can use the air base, airfield, supplying airborne rule to keep these guys in supply. So there you have it. Let me see here. I think I'm pretty much going to be done, right? There's going to be a second strike phase. I mean, the odds of me being able to do anything over here, I might try something here, but I think anywhere else I'm not going to. I don't know if I have any heavy hitters left. Actually, I think I do. I might try to hit this guy again. If I get because a strike 1 goes away at the end of the turn. But if I can get a strike 2 on there, I might be able to do something. Yeah, and that'll be pretty much it. All right, second strike phase. I'm just going to try this right here. Both of those are stealths, so with the storm and the stealth, there's no way that they can be detected. Because even if I rolled a 0, it's going to be like +8, so they can't be detected. And Let me see, what's their pilot skill? We have a -2 and a -1. So I basically need to roll a 0. So if I roll a 0 on the blue die, I think I might cause... All right, so yeah, that wasn't good enough. So these guys fly back home. No big deal. All right, we will check for the effects of isolation here. These guys are out of supply, so their efficiency ratings are reduced by 1. So these are ERs of 4. So I have to roll lower than their ER. So we'll just go from left to right. Headquarters. Let's see here. Equal to or less. So the headquarters is good. That guy is good, and that guy, he surrenders. So he's worth twice the victory points as normal, which I believe is the battalion. That's 2 victory points. Now, because there's nobody for them to surrender to because they're isolated, I'm just going to assume that these guys just kind of quit, right? Now we go to the U.S. So I did enact that one rule where U.S. readiness is reduced by 1. So those are all 6s, and we will go, let's see here, we'll do, basically, that's got a strike 2 on it. A lot of stuff in these boxes. So the headquarters will go from left to right again. So I need to roll lower than a 6. I knew that would happen. I 100% knew it. That one's, oh, you're not good either. Yeah, okay. Yep. I can believe all of that happening. Yep, I knew 100% that was going to happen because that's the way my rolls always go. That's 100% not good. All right, so I can avoid being angry because if they are in supply, currently possess an emergency supply marker or can trace a LOC to any headquarters with one or not isolated. So this supply marker is saving me from not surrendering. So that's good, but it's just silly, right? Like the die rolls have always been ridiculous when it comes to me doing allied stuff. So now we go to reorg, and that part's not really super duper exciting. So basically that is pretty much the end of the turn. The worst weather I can have next turn is overcast because by the GSR, storms don't last long out here in the Persian Gulf, so it won't be a storm turn next turn. It might be overcast, but other than that, hey, thanks for watching.